Good morning, everybody. Down here in the Walipini. Cat would like to come in with me, but I'm gonna keep that door shut today. So today is the day I'm going to go through, just kind of mention a few of the things we would have done different on this structure on our initial build. The first thing I would have done differently is I'd have put some pipe foam around all of these pipes up top. The friction of the wind blowing and rubbing the top of the pipe definitely put little holes in the top of that industrial plastic, and we did lose heat there this winter. So pipe foam would work really good. Those pool doodles, we actually did use pool doodles. You can't really see it up there, but on the ends I did use pool doodles, just those little flotation devices to use in the pool, and those worked really good. So that's that's one thing we'd have done different. If you watched my different phases of the build, you'll know that the first layer of plastic that we put on, we bought short and tried to affix it to that board right there. And then we tried to cut the same plastic in half and go from the board down underneath the gravel outside. And unfortunately, the wind came by and did pick it up and ripped our first layer of plastic just right off within a day, maybe even 2 days. So we went ahead and got online and bought a new plastic, and the one that we bought was about, I think we ended up with a 40-footer, and so that was enough to do the 30-foot stretch along here, plus about 5 or 8 feet out onto the ground that we covered with gravel to keep the water from traveling in and sloughing off our sides, which is why I think we had very minimal slough off here. If you've watched previous videos, you'll know that we did have a flood last year, basically almost to the day, June 24th of 2021, we had a flood, and water came down through here and came in through the door, and we had water all the way up to dang near to the top of this hole. And so my first crop rotation got flooded out, and that was quite sad. However, because of that flood, we were able to do a few things a little bit different. I was able to, my first go round, I only had one level of the planting boxes here, which was okay, but it's much easier to weed and keep care of with the two here. It's probably at about I don't know, 30 inches there, which just makes weeding and taking care of the beds much easier. So something else we added through the winter was some heat lamps. It did get below 30 degrees in here, on 0-degree days, and so I installed these boards here and just got some heat lamps from Tractor Supply or Murdoch's or whatever you got near you, and they just clip on here, and they had those red lights, and that was enough to keep everything above freezing in here. Cost of that was about 12 cents per hour per light. I had it on a timer, so it'd turn on at 6 o'clock at night and would run until about 9 o'clock in the morning, and then it just shut off. And on super cold days, I came in here and overrode that and just let the heat lamp stay on all day. But those were very few and far between days that I had to do that. So in the winter, I did have to add a little bit of heat down here, and part of that, like I said, might be because we were losing heat through where it was tearing at the top. So we're getting ready to replace this structure with our permanent structure. this was our prototype, and I am quite pleased with how the prototype worked. So we are building a permanent structure down here. We're starting to build that here within the next few days. I will show you some videos on how we're getting that all together, and I'll show you some build videos too when we start to actually put it up. Something else that we did last summer is, first thing we added was that fan up there. That's a solar fan, and it pushed air around in here, which was super nice, but it did nothing to control the temperature. And it did get really hot in here. I can't remember. I think our hottest day was about 130 last summer. So this spring, we went ahead and installed this swamp cooler. And it's also on a timer. It turns on at 9 o'clock in the morning and shuts off at 5 o'clock in the evening. Just keep it on low, and that keeps it a good, 98 degrees in here on a hot day. On cooler days, of course, it's kept down to 70 or so. So, in some aspects this worked really wonderful, but it didn't keep the area as cool as I would have liked in the summer, and it didn't keep it as warm as I would have liked in the winter. Now we're at about 6,000 feet here, and winters are quite cold, and summers are very hot. So we did need a little extra help with heat lamps, and this swamp cooler here is really helping make this bearable during the day. So the plants love it down here. We did grow all winter long, which is, just amazing. We got strawberries all winter long, all sorts of things all winter. So, all in all, very happy with the subterranean greenhouse, our makeshift Walipini underground gardening. It's been wonderful, and we are getting ready to put up a permanent structure. So go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button so that when we're putting up our permanent structure, you can see how we erect it, how we've built it. I'll show you some plans, so if you want to create your own, you can. And in the meantime, I hope you all have a super happy day. Thanks for watching. Bye.